Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. The words that so many have longed to hear for nearly a full calendar year can finally be uttered in one simple phrase. It is over. Paperwork posted earlier today in the lawsuit instigated by James Romine against Jim Sterling is a stipulation for removal with prejudice. It reads as follows. Pursuant to federal court mumbo-jumbo, the party hereby stipulates and agrees to the dismissal of all claims in this action, including the claims raised in the amended complaint of February the 3rd, 2017, with prejudice, with each party to bear its own costs and attorney's fees. Plaintiff agrees to forever refrain from directly or indirectly filing against defendant any cause of action arising from the same facts or circumstances alleged in the amended complaint. Plaintiff also agrees to refrain from taking action against defendant's business, such as sending DMCA takedown notices, without first considering whether defendant is engaged in fair use of copyright under more legal mumbo-jumbo, as required under federal law and Lenz v. Universal Music Corp. So, a court case that has been followed by hundreds of thousands of people is now finished, with Jim Sterling being the undisputed victor. Also, it is worth noting that this is a filing of dismissal with prejudice, which means that James Romine will be unable to take up this legal assault on Jim Sterling for the same circumstances that led to the previous lawsuit. If any of you aren't aware of the circumstances that led up to this verdict that will have a great many people dancing in the streets, do see my SidAlpha Reviews Digital Homicide series, of which this video will now be a final feather in the cap of a controversy that frankly should never have occurred to begin with. Now, this video is going to be exceptionally short because, in spite of the rest of the legal documentation submitted by James Romine, whose combined mass rivals War and Peace in its sheer volume of poorly photocopied madness, this one is surprisingly brief. No fanfare, no final death throes from James Romine, just a simple, brief finality to it all, which I think is actually for the best. Now, James Romine's vitriolic lashing out against any perceived slight from not only Jim Sterling, but also 100 Steam users who he had also attempted to sue until Valve crushed him and his company like a bug for his efforts to harass their consumers, was comedic to many and still concerning to some like myself. James Romine's way of thinking was not a singular occurrence and is shared by a great many asset flippers out there who would do quite literally everything within their power to silence criticism in all its myriad forms. What James Romine did was unforgivable, to be certain, but this was also a lesson and warning. I don't think anyone was prepared for how far James Romine was willing to go in his pursuit of vengeance, using the legal system to attempt to justify his own delusional actions and behavior. Jim Sterling came out on top on this one, but this, coupled with the many YouTubers that face DMCAs or worse, my own channel included, shows how damaging and detrimental these shy-talk asset flippers can be, and that is one of the most important reasons why critique is so very important within the games industry and why critics and consumers need to remain moving in step to protect each other against the predations of people like James Romine. Now, I know I can safely speak for approximately 500,000 subscribers out there, not to mention all the other YouTubers, when I say congratulations to Jim for this extremely well-deserved victory, and whether you decide to even speak on this matter on your channel or not, you can at least be reminded that a truly massive amount of people have been pulling for you. That said, and with what will hopefully be my final video regarding digital homicide, I can't think of any other way to end this series than to simply say, thank God for Jim fucking Sterling's son.